Just right back, Charlie. Definitely.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian. Monday morning, people deluded. I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Hope you all had a great weekend, and I hope you and your loved ones are in great health and you're all ready to attack the week. Now, let's see what's concerning Arsenal Football Club. As you know, 99.9% of these rumors are BS. So we'll have to see. Completely off topic, people, but the Caicedo to Chelsea, along with Lavia, maybe Elise. I'm kind of jealous of that. But where Arsenal are concerned, again, footballtransfers.com has said Arsenal weigh up another Barella approach. Now, allegedly, Mikel Arteta wants another midfielder. It will cost a pretty penny to prize him from Inter Milan, to say the least. They've already lost Onana, lost Lukaku, lost Edin Dzeko. They've lost a couple of Skriniar. They've lost a couple of key players. So if they want to lose Barella, they're going to have to pay money. Now, with the greatest of respect to football transfers, this is the same people that said we're going to sign Caicedo, we were going to sign Tchouaméni, and we were going to sign Kylian Mbappe. Nonetheless, allegedly, Arsenal have not given up on signing Inter Milan midfielder Nicolo Barella after the Premier League club received indications that the Italian would be open to a move. I mean, if you're getting positive vibrations from him, why not? It looks like Zanolio could be signing for Aston Villa on loan. Tonali's obviously signed for Newcastle. There's been some mad moves, us with Declan Rice, Newcastle with Tonali, Caicedo to Chelsea, and a bunch of others, people. We are told that Arsenal, who traditionally never initiate talks with a club over a player unless there's a general sense that they would be willing to join, are weighing up another approach for Barella, and any conclusion of a deal would mean that Partey would likely be moved on. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You let Partey go, we're still kind of weak in midfield. And there probably lies it in the first paragraph that it's BS, because it's being made clear that while anything could change, Thomas Partey will be staying. So if bringing in Barella it relies on Thomas Partey leaving, I think this rumor could be shot down. It's our understanding that Inter wish to offer Barella fresh terms to his current contract that runs until 2026, but Inter have also acknowledged they'll be forced to make a sale if they're unable to convince him. I mean, he's contracted until 2026. He's got another 3 years left. I wouldn't say this is a pressing matter. Maybe there's something to be done with Balogun, who's of interest to Inter Milan. I'm not too sure. Barella has always privately maintained that he would rather stay at Inter, his boyhood club, and has in the past rejected any notion of a move away from the San Siro. Allegedly, Newcastle tried to buy him. And apparently Brozovic has also been sold by Inter Milan. And we've kind of showed our pockets with the deal for Declan Rice. If you're Inter Milan, the Premier League have money. And I'm not saying Declan Rice isn't a better central midfielder, or Barella is, but you should believe if Declan Rice can go for X amount, then Barella should really and truly go for something similar, if not more. And again, there is no real credibility in this article, really, from what we've literally just read with you guys. Smash the like button. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts. Once again, another report saying Arsenal are looking at him. We have been linked with him since his days at Calahigri, but we'll have to see. From one new nonsense rumor to an even bigger one, Tottenham considering shock transfer move for Arsenal striker to replace Harry Kane, with Gunners demanding 47.5 million. Balogun would have to be a brave man to sign for Spurs. I'm sure you've all seen growing up, he actually had a trial for Spurs. I don't believe this one bit. I don't think Daniel Levy is going to, even in theory, if it makes sense, not to say Balogun's not a good player, but Harry Kane got 30 league goals last season. I know Balogun got 21, 22 for Reims, but is it a guarantee that he'll be able to do that? I'm not sure. Plus, if we're going to sell to Spurs, we've probably got to pay even more. They've got to pay even more than the asking price, really. So I don't believe this. I didn't know we was in April and it was April Fool's Day already. But for what it's worth, Tottenham are considering a move for Balogun, according to reports. The club is searching for a Harry Kane replacement. They've also been linked with Lukaku. Allegedly, Balogun is free to leave Arsenal, but only for the right price. According to reports out of Italy, Spurs want to sign him and they'll match the £47.5 million valuation. They'll also have to fend off interest from Inter Milan, who view Balogun as the perfect replacement for Lukaku. Monaco, who, Ben Yedder obviously scored, but he's facing a legal fight, some nasty charges, and if he has been convicted and did do what he's alleged to have done, jungle justice for them boys. Obviously, Mbolo is injured. They need one. It's a myth, really. It's a myth, really. I mean, it would offer you Premier League football, but boy, I don't know. Apparently, when Balogun was asked about his future, he said, I went away and the point was to prove I could play first team football. I feel I was able to do that and show people I can play at that level. With me coming back, it's not really much of a situation where I need to try extra hard to prove something. It's a decision that's not really with me. I'm cool. Whatever happens, I'm cool with it. Now, I like that from Balogun because he's taking everything in his stride and he knows his abilities and stuff. But some might say, about you don't need to prove anything. There's players better than you at Arsenal Football Club that need to prove every moment that they deserve to start, really. So I could see how those comments could be misconstrued or better yet interpreted a different way. I don't know about you lot, but anything can happen in football. But I think I would be shocked if Balogun was to join Spurs. Really shocked, really. But if we could get top money and he could stink up the place and be a double agent, why not? This article has basically said that Balogun's dream move could be scuppered by Arsenal star's injury. Balogun could see a potential Arsenal exit scuppered by Jesus' injury issue, sources have told Football Insider. I think considering the issues in the squad, there is scope for another striker. And it does make sense, if Jesus, depending on what happens with his rehabilitation, what's being done there. But on the face of it, you've got Havertz, who started against City in the final up front. You have the luxury of Trossard, who came on against Nottingham Forest and kind of was playing up front. And you've obviously got Eddie Nketiah, who did quite well. So I'm not too sure in relation to that. Obviously, if Jesus' injury is more serious than at first expected, then there you have it. Apparently, Balogun could see a potential exit scuppered by that, but that could provide an opportunity for him. Jesus is reportedly set for weeks on the sideline after undergoing surgery following another knee injury during the offseason. Apparently, Balogun is also on the radar of West Ham. Rather sell him to West Ham than Spurs, really. A well-placed sources told Football Insider, and I mean, all these articles say sources or whatever. It's easy to put that Balogun would be open to sealing a move to the London Stadium as he's keen to put down roots at a permanent home. It is believed a holding down a regular Premier League starting berth is a dream move for a young forward. For the young forward, better yet. So we'll have to see. His 22 goals and 3 assists across 39 appearances has put him in the forefront with a lot of clubs, but apart from Monaco and alleged Inter Milan, for all the talk of Monaco, Inter, AC, Leipzig, Brighton, this club, that club, there hasn't been as many offers. So being interested and actually bidding are two very different things. We all know he's contracted until 2025, people. Although West Ham have let Scamacca go, it does look like they're going to move on from Mikel Antonio, so it could make sense. One guy who's seen a move delayed to Burnley is Lokonga. Apparently, Sasha Trevelli has said, while discussions on a loan deal with a mandatory option were fluid with Arsenal, been told Lokonga's side meeting with Burnley about personal terms didn't meet expectations, and that is now more complicated than expected. Also, the right reason why it's been so quiet since the 2nd of August. Monaco, in bracket, who was on the player even before his transfer to Arsenal, still have an interest for the Belgian midfielder and took information recently, but nothing concrete so far, to be continued towards the end of the window. I mean, if you really want to play for Belgium at international level in the Euros, you need to go. Lokonga, your days appear numbered. So we'll have to see how that develops, people. We've had another exit from Arsenal. Marquinhos has headed to France and joined Nantes on a season-long loan. We hope he can settle down roots after building, in the European game, initially for 6 months at Arsenal. He then went to Norwich, where he did well in his debut, but kind of went quiet. And you obviously, he's played at under-20s World Cup, and you hope that this can put him in the forefront for Mikel Arteta next season or be sold for a profit. It appears Tierney's days are numbered. He wasn't in the matchday squad for whatever reason. And apparently the Telegraph have said Arsenal are thought to be very keen to find a move for Tierney. They'd prefer to sell the player at this stage, but a compromise could be reached that would defer the fee for another 12 months, which would help Newcastle navigate their way through FFP concerns. Given the nature of the deal, it could be that it has to wait until closer to the deadline. I mean, Tierney, the system's left you. There's Tomiyasu, Kirill, Zinchenko, several players above you. Timber now in the left back row. With Timber's injury, I probably would hold fire right now for him, really. And he weren't in the matchday squad, which tells you he's either going to go to Newcastle or Sociedad. But we need to get outgoings. And Tierney, like Balogun, I believe the club, I don't think they're in the same realm as the Cedrics and Lokongas in that they're actually good players. They actually could stay, but for one reason or another, whether the club need to bring in money to kind of help offset the balance that we spent, whether these lot are pushing the boat out, Arsenal have to be available to letting them go. It appears that it's the end for Tierney at Arsenal, and it's been real. Only one will arrive, but Newcastle have been given reason to believe that both Tierney and Cucurella would like to make the move and are looking to progress talks. Both deals would include an option or an obligation to buy the player next summer, and the club would be willing to cover the cost of players' wages. I think it should, on one hand, I think it should be an option so that if he does better than expected and reminds everyone how good he is, if in Tierney's case, I can't speak for Hugh Izzy or aka Cucurella, we can obviously renegotiate things. It would be nice to have an obligation so that there's confirmed money coming in next season, really. So we'll have to see. But Newcastle have historically been linked with Kieran Tierney, just like with Cucurella in the summer market. So we'll have to watch that and monitor that closely, people. What's been said here, Tommy Asu has said he's not fully fit, and Saliba has said the same thing. For what it's worth, Tommy Asu said, I don't know, it could be better, I never say 10, I feel 100%, I never say 10, but I'm feeling good. Hopefully Tommy Asu can stay fit, people, really. And it's nice that he was back from his injury sooner rather than later. Where you look at some other injuries, unfortunately there's no clarity on Timber. Arsenal will assess Timber to determine the extent of the injury. With him, Zinchenko, Jesus carrying knocks, Nelson back fit but carrying a knock, Saliba and actually Declan Rice are not playing at 100%, we've been told. It does make you a bit nervous. The manager said in the aftermath of the Nottingham Forest game, the doctors looked at him and they were happy for him to continue. He was as well. Straight away in the first action of the second half, he made a movement and it was a bit funny. We took him out straight after, and now we have to assess him and see what he has, which is scary. Someone that has barely ever been injured in his early days at Ajax, injured within the first couple of weeks in his official Arsenal career in the Premier League. Jesus will miss a few weeks, as we know, people. We hope he's back sooner rather than later. Zinchenko basically only played 11 minutes in the charity game, people. He apparently, you've seen him train, but he's not ready for whatever reason. So the quicker Zinchenko, Jesus, Timber, El Nene could get fit, the better. Balogun and Lokonga are just on the peripheral things, but apparently they are carrying little knocks and niggles, people. In relation to Matt Turner, he has given nothing but praise to Arsenal. On his move, people, he said, it was always a good stepping stone for my career to play for Arsenal, to be at Arsenal. It helped me become the number one for the national team and play in the World Cup, and that was always the goal. And now I found myself playing in the Premier League at another club. You always kind of got to get over here, get your foot in the door and find what's right. Today, I felt really good. Big him up, man, because he made a couple of saves against Nottingham Forest. I know Saka had done him dirty, buried him, but you get the point. And then I think he's really mature on why he didn't get more opportunities at Arsenal beyond the obvious. Sure, but obviously I didn't do enough to earn that, so I'm self-aware enough. I thought I did well in the opportunities that I had to play. I think he played 7-8 times for the club. But again, the team is at the top of the table for most of the season, and when that's the case, you don't really change the goalkeepers that much. He then went on to say, I think for me, he's revealed he asked Arsenal to leave. So again, obviously, we've got an admiration for Raya, and it looks like we're getting over the line. And this week, you hope to see that confirmed. Is it a thing where Matt Turner forced the boat? He said, you know what, I want to leave Gaffer. And we said, you know what, we've done the bulk of our summer business. Raya's a goalkeeper that we like, and he's turned down 2 new deals. He's got 1 foot out the door with Brentford. Should we be proactive in that regards? Either way, respectfully to Matt Turner, we're bringing in a keeper that is significantly better than you. And whether it's David Raya, or Aaron Ramsdale, someone's going to be the number 2. And they're better than you, really and truly. I don't know how long that's sustainable, because we've been here when Leno and Martinez, we've been here with Leno and Czech, we've been here with Ramsdale and Leno, and at some point with Raya and Ramsdale, somebody's going to have to be the number 2. Out of 38 Premier League games, someone might play 28, 30, and there might be 8 games for you in the league, and you make up the difference in the cup competitions, really. But in the Champions League, I personally want Mikel Arteta to name his starting 11, whoever that is, in whatever position. If we get to the latter stages of whatever cup and finals, the best keeper has to play. And 9 times out of 10 in the Premier League, you want to see the best team. I know, rightly so, Gabriel was dropped tactically and it worked for Arteta, but you want to see your first choice to centre-back partnership and goalkeeper for all the rotation and competition and all of that stuff. But for what it's worth, he said, I think for me, it was something that was definitely on my mind. I wanted to go and play and find places to play, but at the end of last season, when I brought that up, it very much seemed like it wasn't on the cards from the conversations with the front offices. So maybe that's that. If there was ever a league in Europe that I wanted to play in, it was this one. So it's been a goal of mine to prove myself in the Premier League, and hopefully I can do that for 37 more games. Big him up, really and truly. Matt Turner also said, he offered in relation to Raya, work hard. It's never going to be easy. No matter how hard you train, make the most of your opportunities, I guess. But Ramsdale's a really great goalkeeper. But I guess also the culture. You need to understand the culture of being at Arsenal. You need to be able to push, but also support. And I think that's something that I did really well. I was pushing, but I was also there to support not only Ryan, but Aaron, sorry, but the best of the team for the best of the team. There's no doubt that I pushed him every single day. He became a really solid goalkeeper last year. It felt every time I played well in Europa League or FA Cup, he followed that up with 2 or 3 really good performances in the league. Every time I thought the door was a bit cracked, he stepped up his performances on the pitch. And I know I pushed him every day in training, and I can hold that close to my heart. And I'm really happy to see him doing well. And I hope that he can stay between the sticks. Big him up, pause. Big him up, Matt Turner. I think that's very mature words from him, people. But we've spoken about Matt Turner. We've gone over Barella. We've spoken on Balogun to Spurs and so on and so forth. We lightly touched on Caicedo's move to Chelsea, where he signed a 9-year deal or whatever. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed or anything in general. As usual, appreciative to you lot tuned in. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications, follow me on all my socials. Links are in the description. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think like